What is up, everybody? Welcome to Behind the Cork. I'm your host, Eric Rocha, and happy Easter. You doing all right? You having a good Easter? Did you have a good Passover? I think that was Friday. Was it Friday? No, it was Wednesday. Whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate anything, if you think the whole thing's bullshit, then I kind of agree with you, but... You know, if I get up to the pearly gates and Jesus is like, what did you think of me? I'd be like, you weren't there. And then I would fake cry. I'd be like, you weren't there. I would fake crying just to see if he lets me into heaven. But I think Jesus would know if you were trying to bullshit him. If he's the Christian Jesus. Wouldn't it be great if Jesus were black?
You're a smart motherfucker, that's right.
Oh boy, this took a wrong turn somewhere. Should I leave it in? Well, if you're hearing it, I left it in. I hope Jesus is black. Just because I like uneasy white people. Those are my favorite white people. Anyways, speaking of favorite white people, my guest today is Vinnie Falcone, VINNIE_ FALCONE, Vinnie Falcone. I met Vinnie doing open mics, and he's somebody that I've seen just get really, really good. He reminds me of Bruno Mastro de Casa in that. I watched him eat a dick a couple times. He's seen me eat a dick a few times, and next thing you know, man, the guy's fucking annihilating the room, and it's awesome to see. So. Anyways, again, that is Vinnie _ Falcone. That is his Twitter. And here's the interview. Check it out.
I don't know no better, so let's blame the weather, 'cause I got no care when I hit my groove. 'Cause I got no care when I hit my groove. Well, my music's rolling.
Where did I first meet you?
Had to be fourth wall.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you went with Agostino, right?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I think so. I think I was still hosting back then.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, because you guys came... Yeah, and it was always kind of like a package thing with you and Pat Colicchio.
Yeah.
You guys were always together. Do you think that helped?
Certainly helped in the start. Not that it hurts now, but there's only a certain level of growth you can do in certain stages. So like when I first moved here, I was not good about getting on stage. I would make excuses. I would say, you know what, I don't really have to do it. You know, going to these open mics in front of 4 or 5 people is not going to get me better. What is doing stand-up in front of 4 or 5 comics going to do? Like that can't possibly make me better. I'll just write, and then when I have shows, I'll work it out there. Well, doesn't really work that way.
No.
And then when Pat moved here, it was someone to, and then I got a little bit of independence before he moved out here, and I would do it. Now I would see progress, right? But I was doing it once, twice a week, maybe. Then Pat moved out here, and the last 2 years, my stand-up has taken a complete fucking exponential leap. Because now I have someone to do sets with. Now I'm getting on the stage at least like 3-4 times a week. Is it great? No, but I bartend, so you know, work always gets in the fucking way. And then now that I gained comfortability in going out and doing sets, now it's important to break out away from Pat and be a little uncomfortable.
You've gotten better.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I mean, it's upsetting. No. It's It's funny because and I'll release it, constant listener, but I had Bruno Mastro de Casa on here, and it was funny because with Bruno, I saw the night he got better. I saw the night he broke through, and it was weird because it was like, oh fuck, this guy's something to deal with now.
Yeah.
Like, and it was cool. It was like, oh fuck, here we go. And with you, well, fuck, okay, we got somebody in the room now. And it's not me trying to be like, oh, well, I will decide who is good in show business. And it's not one of those things. It was one of those things where I saw you go up and I thought, oh, fuck, I got to bring my game. And I think that's how you realize somebody's getting good. Anyways, I saw that in you, and it was really interesting.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I think there was one night where it was NoHo, and I think someone brought 4 or 5 people or something, so it was a decent sized room, and I just happened to just have a really, really good set. And I got off stage, I was walking back to my seat, and I think you're the next one up, so you kind of passed me, and you're like, "You fucking killed." And I go, "Thanks, man." He was like, No, I'm not giving you a compliment. I'm just telling you, you fucking killed."
What an ass.
But I mean, honestly, coming from you, it really means so much. I mean, Pat and I really look up to you as kind of a benchmark as like for what we're doing, because we'll do our mics, right, and we'll leave and we'll be like, "Oh, we're getting better. We had a good set, or we got to work on that." And just when we think we've grasped stand up a little bit, and then we'll do a mic with you, and it just we get into the car afterwards and we're like, "All right, we're still got a ways to go." and I'm not trying to kiss your ass, but it's just you really do have there's levels to it, and you definitely are a level above us, and it's cool to watch and to be able to compare yourself to someone who you're chasing.
I'm gonna call you on that. Why do you think that?
Because
here's why I ask that. Is I do appreciate the compliment, but I don't see that. I don't see that in the sense of, okay, I think it's a confidence issue
with myself,
because I've seen you. And this is what happens when you say "fuck all." That's when you're a force.
Yeah,
and that's. To me, like it's in that, like I do appreciate the respect, but in some respects, I'm kind of like, okay, fuck that. Like, bring the heat. Like, what's going on? So why I'm curious. Why do you think that?
Well, with stand up, you can't hide or fake the result. Because the result is something involuntary you can't control. If it's funny, you just laugh. And every time we've seen you go up, whether you're doing material or you're riffing on the room, it's your stage presence along with just what you produce, you can't argue with. You constantly get laughs. I'm constantly interested to see what you're going to say. Whether it's a joke I've heard, a joke I haven't heard, or just you riffing on whatever happened in the room, you're able to riff in a joke format.
And you've done that too. So I guess my thing about it too is, what stops you from doing that?
I guess, like you said, confidence.
Is it?
Being in my own head, not being free, I guess. I think one of the weird things about stand-up is it's kind of a weird thing. You're on stage in front of a bunch of people. You're the only person talking. No one else can talk. It's a rhetorical performance. So it's a little weird to begin with,
okay.
And then I guess just part of the thing of getting better is constantly doing sets to where it becomes like you're just sitting at the dinner table shooting the shit with your family or your friends.
And that's when, on your nights where you've been like solid, and I've been like, oh fuck, look at this guy. It was definitely one of those nights where it was like, oh shit. Like, it's not that you purposely say fuck you to everybody in the room, but you don't talk with the kind of regard that you do. Mm-hmm. And I love that. To me, that's the best thing about it. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
How long have you been doing it?
It should be an easy question or easy answer, but basically I started probably 5 years ago, and I was doing it quite a bit in New York where I first started. And then when I first moved here, I just wasn't really getting on the stage a lot. I wasn't really doing stand-up. And in the last 2 years, I've really been hitting it hard. So I want to say I've really been doing stand-up the last 2.5 years. Doing it correctly. Writing, working on bits, getting on stage a bunch.
So you're an actor too.
Yeah.
How often do you get to do that?
Very little.
Really?
Yeah. I booked one commercial that didn't use me. Fucking Under Armour, go fuck yourself. I want to act, but I would really only like to act in specific things.
Okay.
I'm basically doing it to just put myself out in a different market and to possibly make money in other ways besides bartending and waiting tables. You know, the dream would be to do Judd Apatow-like films, you know, funny shit, or Scorsese stuff, opposite end of the spectrum, you know. But all the auditions I get are bullshit. Like I have one that I have to do tonight. It's I don't want to do it because it's so fucking stupid. And this is all the shit that I get. The audition is there's a cooking show and this cooking lady is called Pepper the fucking chef. And I basically have to submit something that says make a video and tell her what falling out you have with your family member, what exactly happened, and then what meal she could make to possibly mend this relationship with this family member. I'm like, you don't want me to answer this question. Okay? Because my answer is going to be, well, listen, I haven't talked to my dad in 2 years because he divorced my mother because he cheated on her. Now he's married to a 26-year-old black chick. So what are we going to do, make some fucking soul food? Go fuck yourself, Pepper. There's going to be an audition. And my agent's going to drop me. Or I just don't do it. I can't lie.
I was going to say, are you going to do it that way?
I want to, actually. And I have to submit to her first. She's going to be like, what the fuck? This is what's going on. I haven't talked to my dad in 2 years.
It's funny because, like, honesty wills out. I think that's the thing that's honestly funny.
Yeah.
Is it's funny with stand up, you always find your way back to honesty.
Yeah.
It's a fucking it's such a pain because it's like you see like Louis and you see all like Chappelle, but it's weird because there always is like a kernel of honesty in each. It feels that way at least. I mean, even if they make shit up, it's a strange thing. Like with you, I can tell when you get upset or when you get annoyed or when you get scared.
Yeah.
Or when it's funny because like I think you're a natural performer more so than other people. And so I think what your catch-up game is learning to write and learning to. And I say that because it's mine too. Yeah. It's funny, like I talk all the time about this there's an actor that is doing stand-up right now. And I hate to talk shit, but I fucking hate when this person does stand-up. I hate it on their fucking website. It is so blatantly clear that it's somebody that wants a sitcom so bad, which is so odd because it's like, wow, that still fucking exists.
Yeah.
That dream
yeah, I know.
to do that.
They're
like,
so horrible.
Are you in the fucking 90s again? Like, what? Why the fuck would you ever want to do this? But it's funny because they're, oh, fuck, are they out there? And I don't know if it's because their agent told them that they should do it or what the fuck the deal is. But, you recognize that person? Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's I showed him a picture of the person. Every time that person's on stage, I get blinded with rage because you can see them sell and act out to the umpth degree, and it's just like, so I'm just going to act out.
Yeah.
And they don't mind the silence because they have so much confidence on stage because they've been doing, King Lear set in Frog Balls, fucking Iowa. And they just know, like, they're okay with silence.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, I'm all right with this. When in stand-up, you're like, fucking tell a joke.
Yeah.
You've got to tell a joke.
Dude, you got to pepper in some punchlines here.
You do. It's not a fucking monologue.
This isn't a one-man show.
It's not.
This isn't fucking Billy Crystal. You're not at the Radio City Music Hall.
And it's fucking infuriating. It gets me really livid where I'm like, this motherfucker thinks he's acting. And it's just like, he doesn't get it.
What pisses me off about people like him doing stand-up, and this isn't, a rule, but for some reason I like these kind of comics, is what pisses me off about him and other comics is I can't see any pain or frustration or everything seems he skips to a fucking Elton John song. You know, like it's fucking rainbows and butterflies. In traffic, he's like, "Well, at least this is time to work on me." Like nothing is a problem to him. You know, I like to see a little bit of like you're not perfect. I think that's why you do stand up. I mean, you cannot be a normal person and not and want to do stand up.
It's fine. I don't know, because I don't know. I'm so skeptical now of how other people do it. It's like fucking in a way. Like everybody fucks.
Yeah.
You know, what's that Chappelle line? Everybody fucks funny to somebody. But it's funny because somebody said this about directing too. Directing was like fucking, in that everybody does it differently, and you don't really know how somebody else does it until you do it with them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit! Like Scorsese was talking about working with somebody when he did what's the shark movie he did?
Oh, Shark Tales.
Yeah,
was
Shark
it Will
Tales.
Smith?
Yeah, and he's like, it was interesting being directed by somebody else because you have no control.
Yeah.
And you completely give up control of that. So with stand-up, like, especially with other people's process and shit like that, like, it's funny, one of the groundbreaking, I think, interviews, if I can be that fucking dense about it, the one interview I really, really loved on here, probably one of my favorite episodes, was with Josh Potter. And it was interesting because Josh is such a live and let live comic that he, honestly, how you get to the club is a lot like however you get on stage. It's just like, oh, did you take the train? Did you drive? Did you fly? How the fuck did you get to the club? Cool, that's neat.
Yeah.
Good for you. And that's it. Doesn't give a fuck if you came in a Ferrari or on a fucking bike. It doesn't matter to him. You got there, good. What? I'll take you to my smoking spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the kind of live and let live comic that he is, you know. And he has his own kind of process, and it's an interesting thing. But like I said, I respect that because there's a lot of heart in somebody's act that you can see, like definitely in Josh's. With this asshole that I showed you on the picture, I look at it and I cringe because now, especially as I do this more and more, I'll see actors that get on stage and I don't know why it bugs the fuck out of me, where I'm like, you're just monologuing this whole fucking shit. Like you can't wait to do your act out, and it's so not earned.
I think it bugs us because like doing well takes a lot of work and trial and error, and it's almost like when they do it, they expect it to have instant gratification without kind of testing it out a little bit. And it just seems so fake and so theatrical. And you can be theatrical on stage and have act outs. Like, Sebastian's one of my favorite comedians, and his whole thing is act outs and physicality, but it's organic.
It's earned.
And it's earned, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing of it too. Like every like it's funny when you listen to people talk about Chappelle for the first time. They talk about his act outs, and they were like, "This motherfucker will act out everything in the joke." And what's unique about those, it's so earned. It's not like I always tell people my favorite joke that Chappelle does is that you could be. He's talking about gay men are fucking fearless.
I fucking love this joke, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, gay men are fearless. And he's quiet, and then you could be in a hostage situation, tied up to a gay dude. And then, but everything on that is so subtle and so low key and so honest, and it's him talking to you, and then bam, he hits you with that act out. I'm thirsty. Shh. And it's fucking magic, where it's like, Jesus Christ, like, and it's funny because with that it is such an earned act out, and you're just like, fuck He knocks me out with it. Like, I even saw that shit coming.
Not only earned, you want it.
Yeah.
He gives you the setup. He gives you the premise. You're like, oh, that's fucking funny. Then he tells you the joke. Like, dude, that's hilarious. And then you're like, but show me. But show me what it actually would be like. And then he does, and you're like, fuck, yes, yes. And it's always better. It's always simple, but better than what you envisioned yourself.
Absolutely.
You know, he thinks like, oh, you know, gay guys are fearless. And you're thinking about maybe a gay guy walking down the street in like weird clothes, and that's kind of funny. But then it's like, no, he's fucking held captive, but he wants a drink. That's much better than what I was thinking.
Exactly. It's funny because one of the exercises that I'll do just to fucking try to get my mind thinking in the general area, I'll play like an Attell bit or a Chappelle bit. I've done this with fucking Lewis Black, Garland, all these different people, but I'll stop on their setup and then I'll try to come up with something. And it's like for instance, Dave Attell has this joke, and again, this is a Dave Attell joke. He talks about, which by the way, happy birthday to Dave.
Hey,
It's
salute.
his birthday today.
Oh, wait, thanks for breaking your sobriety.
So Dave has this joke. He goes, I had somebody come up to me and they were like, hey, Dave, you want to smoke some marijuana? And he goes, I know it's illegal, but it's not that illegal. He goes, okay. He goes, if you're going to do the whole song and dance, why don't you make it something a little more illegal? And then I'll pause it. And then I'm like, okay, write a punchline to that. And what's funny is like you'll write like I'll try to write like 5 of them, and then like this was Dave's. Dave's is why don't you do a little more song and dance about it? Hey Dave, you want to eat a bald eagle? And he goes, because there's only like 8 left. And he goes, that's very illegal. But what that does in my head is that it does 2 things. One, it shows me where I am short. Like, yeah, dude, you're not coming up with anything imaginary at all. You're not using your full creative juices there. The other thing that it does is it gets you thinking about setup and fucking punchline, which I think that's one thing that you have broken through to. It's I think now you've learned the difference between like a setup and a punchline, because it's remind me, I gotta scold you about something later on that I heard on your show. But what was interesting was we were talking about other comics, like newer comics, and how they think the setup is the punchline, and they'll stop, and then they get mad because nobody laughs at it. Like, I'll give you an example. Okay, so there's an old fucking joke, and it goes like this. It's a guy is in a bar and he gets his jaw broken and it gets wired shut. Okay, so I heard Jackie Martling tell this joke too. So this is a Jackie Martling guy gets his jaw cracked in a bar fight, so it gets wired shut, and so the guy, he's in the hospital and he's in a lot of pain. And the nurse is asking, this guy's always so nice, but, I can't really help him. Is there anything that he liked? And people were like, oh, he used to love coffee. And they were like, oh, okay, well, what's he going to do? Well, you can't drink coffee. So the nurse gets this idea. She gets a funnel and a hose, and she sticks the hose right up the guy's ass. And the guy's like, and then the nurse reaches over, and she gets a steaming, scalding pot of coffee, and she just starts pouring it in, just fucking all of it too, and the guy's just going, and she looks at him, she goes, what's the matter, is it too hot? And he goes, it's too sweet.
So stupid.
It's so stupid.
It's fucking great though.
But it's perfect redirection.
Yeah.
I mean, because it suggests exactly where it wants you to go. and then it pulls the fucking rug from under you, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's what you want in jokes.
Yeah.
I want, you want to be that far ahead of somebody. But the other aspect of it too is we were talking about setup versus punchline. Sorry, I went backwards on this. Another fucking Attell joke is he's talking about blowjobs. And all this shit is shit he's burned. So this is on road work. One of the jokes that he tells is he goes, ladies are so good at blowjobs. God, I hate that I have to do something but butcher this joke. Ladies are so good at blowjobs that they don't even blow guys anymore. That's how good they are at it. And he goes, they'll like, what do you think, daddy? Huh? Do you like this? Do you like this? He goes, what do you think? He goes, I'll tell you what I think. I think you're taking a break. That's what I think. And he goes, because you're talking. And that's like half of what a blowjob is. Okay? Fucking funny, right? There's no joke there. Mm-hmm. There's no joke. All that is a setup. And then he gets to the joke. He goes, if this were the blowjob factory, you'd be the one leaning on a broom, telling a story, while other people are busy making fucking blowjobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so goddamn funny.
Yeah.
And you realize, like, oh fuck, like, yeah, that I would have stopped. I would have stopped right there at you're talking, you're taking a break. That's what I think. That's not a punchline though. And it's so fascinating because it's like, well, how much further can you take a joke like that? And it's embarrassing, quite honestly. But I think that's one thing that you're learning.
Absolutely.
Is that, like, because I've seen you do shit where you go further than you thought you were going to. When did that start?
Well, it's actually started with kind of I think it started because I just had been writing more and trying to construct jokes more. So I think just naturally when you do something more, you just get better at it, more comfortable with it. But also something you told me that you do is you'll listen to a joke and then you'll write it out and you'll kind of dissect what the joke is and then see all the different components of it and then kind of write your own joke, which has helped. And I think it's just from not being content with one tag or not being content with just being like, all right, I think I've exhausted that enough. It's just trying to keep going. And a lot of my writing actually happens on stage.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not good at sitting down and writing. It seems too school-like. It takes all of the creativity out for me. Even if I'm like, I got a cup of coffee and I smoked a joint, I'm like, like it's my day off. I'm in it kills it for me. It seems too school-like. It's too wordy. It's too like essay. So what I do is I'll go on stage and I will have an idea of some punchlines, and then if I feel really free and comfortable, then it just comes to me. Like I just wrote a whole new bit about my little brother over the last couple weeks, and I did it last night. Pat and I had a gig, and it fucking did great. It's been doing great at mics all week, and I did great last night. Ooh. And it was just about, we were going to my grandmother's for Christmas, and we got into the car, and he basically just came out to me in the car. So like the set, and funny enough, I did it last night. I was like, I'm gonna do the Tommy bit, and Pat's like, oh, I like it. And we walk into this club, and someone brought literally 30 gay dudes.
Really? Literally
30 gay dudes. Fuck. And I go, well, if there's a night to try it out, it's fucking tonight, So I get up there, and the setup to it is, so my little brother came out to me over the holidays in the beginning of a very long car ride, and I sent some pullback, and I go, which is fine. I'm so pro LGBTQ, but dude, you gotta fucking ease me into it a little bit, Put on some Smashing Pumpkins, ease into John Mayer, finish with Sam Smith, and then say, hey, dude, I fuck guys. And then they loosen up because, one, it's more of a punchline, and then two, I said I'm very pro. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I'm going to make fun of them. I'm just saying, I kind of did a Chris Rock thing where in between my tags, I would emphasize, I'm so pro. And then I go into the next part of the joke. But I was just exhausting every aspect of it, mm-hmm. And one, it's real. Like you said before, you always come back to what's real. Mm-hmm. And I find with all of the jokes that I do, it's something that actually happened. I was able to look at it in a very funny way and create a joke out of it, and then just trying to exercise all of the different angles of it.
This happened over the holidays?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
Well, so first off, for the joke, it works better if he's gay.
Yeah.
He actually is, he said like he's hetero-dominant and homo-curious.
Okay.
Or something like that. But I don't know. I'm still trying to learn.
It shows me how out of touch I am. Where I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, dude, I don't.
No, and that's which is fine. But we're gonna fuck with you about it. So relax.
Yeah. And he also, like, one of his best friends right now is a they.
Okay.
Which is fine, but dude, you're making me sound stupid.
I eat it fucking day. Those were the days.
You know, so it's just like, so basically we get into the car and like literally he drops it like 15 minutes left. And I go, this is fine, but we still have an hour and a half left till grandma's.
You guys sit next to the fag eating.
And basically, you know, I found gay porn on his computer.
No shit.
Dude, in high school. So this is 8 years ago.
Okay.
And, you know, I go, you know, maybe he typed something wrong into the search bar. And, you know,
Okay, I'm gonna ask you straight out.
Yeah.
Did you question him even then?
No, I didn't say anything to him.
No, I don't mean to him, but did you in your mind like, is my brother gay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Had you done it for a while?
Yeah, but he always had girlfriends, which again, you know, isn't, you know, doesn't mean anything.
That's fine, yeah.
But I just thought that was very weird. And then I thought, well, you know, he's in high school. Maybe he's just fucking curious. You know, because to be honest, you know, I've cranked down to a couple she-male videos myself.
Yeah.
You know, a she-male banging a chick. If anything, that's the straightest thing you can do. It's
Right,
two people
don't
with
do your
tits.
fucking jokes here. I'm
I'm
fucking with you. I'll give you the light. Don't fucking.
Yeah.
We're a half hour in. I'll
Wrap it up.
I'll fucking send you out the door.
But I just thought, hey, listen, maybe he's just curious. And then I kind of forgot about it for a while because he had long-term relationship, whatever. And then he just said he has been experimenting, and this is something he's like wanted to do for a long time. And now that he's done it, he feels way happier about it. And he's like, yeah, you know, he's like, and you know, just so you know, when I'm with my queer friends, I actually act differently. And I didn't know what that meant, so I said like, oh, dude, do you talk with your hands a lot? He goes, no, I just like, I'm more gentle and
I'm Italian.
I'm nicer. I go, oh, all right, well, it just, you know, I still feel like I don't know him.
No shit.
You know, like I definitely know him, but I still feel like the real Tommy has yet to be
a true enemy has not yet revealed himself.
Yeah. So it's definitely, so basically to what you said, how do I feel? I feel fine, but I definitely.
Are you crying? No, I'm fucking with you.
I think he's a bottom, which is fine, but I want him to be like a feisty bottom. You know, I'm afraid he's just going to be like a kid that gets pounded. I want him to be, you know.
Dude, I will tell you this. Bottoms are fucking ferocious.
Okay.
Like, I consider myself a donkey when it comes to like a fucking, and not because of dick, but bottoms will be like, they're the ones that'll look at your dick and be like, no. And you'll be like, what? Like that's never happened to me.
Yeah.
It's not like a size thing. It's usually they're like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck a football player. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm more than a football player. I do comedy. And they're like, I don't care about your skets. And I'm like, skets? Like, whatever. Just fuck me. And I was like, God, you're so mean. Like, I've been
Really?
the top that's been like, why is this person so fucking mean? So, attitude-wise, you don't got to worry about bottoms being. But it brings up an interesting point, though, because, I mean, there are definitely tops that are like, I don't want to say battered husbands, but are like, that get mistreated in relationships and shit like that. Like, it's funny because I think you're easily manipulated in some situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're very lead with your heart. Mm-hmm. And I like, that's what's funny about you on stage. Like, the funniest shit I've ever heard you say is things that good deeds got you into.
Really?
You're the kind of guy that would be like, well, this hooker needed a ride home, and I gave her a ride home. And she wanted to suck my dick, and I said, no, because I don't trust where your mouth has been. And then, she got pulled over, and she threw Coke at me, and she told the police officer, he has Coke. And I just wanted to give her a ride home. Or, to me, like, that's like, fucking Vinny, he got busted with a felony. Like, that's terrible. But, like, to me, that's what's funny, but it's the... sorry, go ahead. So, that was an interesting car ride. What makes you think he's a bottom?
Well, I asked him, are you a top or a bottom? And he said, that's not appropriate thing to ask. I was like, all right, you're a bottom. Got it. Got it. Enough said. Okay, you're getting plugged. Got it.
He told you that's not an appropriate thing to ask.
Yeah, and that's a fucking bottom response.
Dude, you're his brother. Cut out the they shit that you could ask him. If it's family, it's fucking Olive Garden, dude. You can treat him any way you fucking want if it's family.
Well, because I think the reason why I feel weird is because he's my younger brother. So it's almost like if I had a younger sister, I'd feel protective over her. So it's the same kind of thing, It's just, if it's a very new thing. I'm very pro, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Not weird, it's unfamiliar.
Honestly, like, if I saw you kissing your girlfriend, it would make me kind of uncomfortable.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be kind of like, okay, like, I don't want to see how you get down. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, I wouldn't want you seeing me kiss a guy because I get down completely different.
Really?
Oh yeah.
How to get down? Tell me.
Okay. What do you mean? How do I get down?
Well, I think we mentioned it before, but are you like a Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints?
Oh God. No. See, and that takes it to an interesting level. Typically, I'm a top.
Okay.
I've bottomed for one person, and that was my boyfriend at the time. And anything else has been like, I've had people in that area, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, I don't trust you. Bottoming to me it's a trust issue.
Okay.
Because, like, if you bottom, you are much more likely to get something in terms of HIV. You're more susceptible to it. That's not me being, condescending to bottoms. It's just that with your ass, your anus, it is so much more like, that's why when guys like fist guys or girls, you can fist a woman's vag and those are pretty tough. But like her asshole, that's susceptible to a lot of different bacterias. It's, that's why they still do suppositories and some things, because it goes straight to your system. So with bottoms, like, yeah, dude, like you can get HIV. You're more prone to it if you're a bottom. And I learned that from the LGBT center.
Okay.
So that's a trust thing too. And honestly, dude, you're opening yourself up to somebody.
Literally.
Exactly. And that's a fucking like, okay, like my well-being is basically in your hands. Like you can either hurt me. I had sex 2 weeks ago with this guy that was like 5'4", and we were going at it, and I was getting kind of bored doing the same thing. So if you're, oh God, I just probably lost half my fan base. So here's one thing that I used to do with one guy. He liked when I would go all the way out and go all the way in, because that was the long stroke. So I started doing the long stroke, and when I pulled all the way out, I did it too fast for him. And when I pulled out, he fucking let out like this whimper. It was like, and I go, oh, fuck. And I was like, hey, are you okay? And he like turned around. He's like, just hang on. Oh, fuck, that hurt. Oh my God. And I was like, I am so sorry. And he's like, it's okay. And he goes, just lay next to me. Just lay next to me. And I was like, okay. And then he was like, would you be upset if I asked you to leave? And I was like, no, not at all. I go, I am so sorry. If there's anything that I can do, please tell me. I am so. And then he like kissed me, and he was like, I know you're sorry. It's okay. It's not gonna happen anymore tonight. And I go, and it doesn't have to. I go, it totally doesn't have to. And I left, and I was fucking terrified. I was like, oh my God, like what?
Wait, what could that do?
What do you mean?
Why is it taking
Pulling out to?
Yeah.
Because I think he was muscle wise. It's your ass is like a muscle, so you're still getting used to. So I was in there, and I was going in and out, but when I pulled out, it was like his muscles were still trying to
flex.
Yeah, and so it was painful.
Jesus. So is he just in rough shape for the next couple days?
So yeah, like it's like if somebody stretches you out too hard. Because I went in and I went out quick. So
the old fucking how you doing? The old fucking show and tell, baby.
I gave him the old now you see me, now you don't.
Fucking hide and go seek.
Oh God. So, but I'm happy to say, like, he called me like a week later and he was like, yeah, let's fuck again. And I was like, okay. And it was one of those things where I literally laid there. I was like, you're doing all the work because and it was bad. Like, we haven't met up since because it was just so like, yeah, dude, I'm too scared to have sex with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the fuck we got off on this rant, but
well, we were talking about if you kissed a guy, you're like, oh, I'm not. You don't get down how I perceive you to get down or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, to me, that's it's another side when you see somebody get intimate with somebody.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know, and it's a strange kind of thing. Like, I don't know. And with comics, anything you do is suspect. Like, and that's kind of what's great about it, and kind of what's horrifying about it is how can I put this so that I don't sound like a complete shitbag? I like it that I have to watch my step with people. And I like it that people have to watch your step with me. Because if you're going to give somebody shit, then you got to be willing to get shit too.
Well, I think if famous actors had more friends that are comedians, they wouldn't be so fucking weird.
Exactly. Like, yeah, we can talk about all night long. Ricky Gervais doing the Golden Globes.
I loved it. I loved it.
Anybody that is funny loved that shit.
It was so fucking perfect.
It was. And
thank you, manager, and fuck off. I mean, you know what? Who I got fucking pissed off at was Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, when he made his stupid little punchline face.
You were a comedian. That's how you started out.
And I don't think he was.
You don't think so?
No, fuck no, dude.
He was, what's his face you just showed me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay. And don't get me wrong, he's a great comedic actor because I love that motherfucker in A League of Their Own. That's one of my favorite performances of all time.
Amazing movie.
But I don't know. And maybe the medium's changing and I'm just, that old guy on the boat. But I think for me, it's still one of those things where, our friend Luke Allen, I always got to be careful what I say to Luke.
Yeah.
Like, and if I get too soft with Luke, he'll be like, ew. Like, he can't be intimate for a second. No. And I'm talking about friendship.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, and like I laugh because we were okay. we were at Mexicali. He loves paying way too much money for shitty Mexican food. So it's me, Luke, and Alex Verzid. He sees this chick at the bar that he doesn't, or that he really liked. Okay, he's like, "Oh my god, she's alone at a bar." You know what that means? Like, yeah, that's fucking great. So, we're just laughing, we're riffing back and forth, and this chick's talking to me and Alex, and she's like, "So what do you do?" And Alex is like, "What do I do?" And she goes, "Yeah, do you like work?" He goes, "Do I work?" And fucking Luke just goes, "Yeah, great improv skills, Al." Jesus fucking Christ. He goes, "What, are you just going to repeat?" That's his improv, is he just repeats back whatever you say to him. And he goes, "Yeah, fucking terrific." He goes, he had a parrot and it used to just squawk back at him. He tried to teach it to talk, but the parrot hanged himself. And dude, we were fucking dying. It was so goddamn funny. And I mean, he was just ripping. We were at a 7-Eleven, right outside the Koreatown fourth wall. He's standing in line, and I've got him. And I knew I had him because he's so awkward around people. And there were a shit ton of people there in line. So I walk into 7-Eleven, and I just, as honest as I can, I just look at him and I go, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm a big fan of the show. I listen to it all the time, and I just want to say you're really spectacular. And he kind of looks at me, and he's like, his eyes get all big. And I just said, I go, sincerely, man, I go, I'll leave you alone, but I'm a really big fan. And he looks at my stomach, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll fucking say." And everybody in line sees him look at my stomach and go, "Yeah, I'll fucking say." Look at you. Everybody starts laughing at me. And I mean, it turned so I had that cocksucker in the I had him, dude. He was done. And he turned it. And I fucking was like, "Oh, fuck you." I went to get coffee, and I was like hiding my face like, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck happened? It was like Shooter McGavin, dude. It's like, oh, fuck, what happened to me?
Well, I love it.
Go ahead.
I love that no one is ever safe and everything is a possible joke. Mm-hmm. Opportunity, like I won't mention his name, but me, Pat, and my friend Augustino used to do these shows with this guy, and they were horrible shows. Every show we went to, it just was a dog shit crowd. It was just horrible. And it turned out that a couple months later, the guy who would promote these shows died. And we didn't know how he died. And Pat and I met up to do Augustino's podcast one time. And we see the memorial card of this guy on Augustino's wall in his podcast studio. And I go, "That's right, he fucking died." I go, "That's so fucking horrible." I go, "Did you ever find out how he died?" And Augustino goes, "He shot himself." And then Pat's like, "Oh my God, that's horrible." Augustino goes, "Oh my God, it was so sad." And I said, "Well, if I was promoting those shows, I would have killed myself too." And they couldn't help but laugh, but they didn't want to laugh, you know.
Oh, of course, but that's the thing of it. Like, I was listening to Opie and Anthony, and they were talking about Aunt B or Auntie M. And I don't know if you know this, but she killed herself.
No.
And Sam was reading the way she did it. She did it very, very kind of genteel and very systematic. And she left a note, and she put on her favorite dress. And mind you, it's some of the greatest comic minds in the world. They're just sitting there, and they're just listening to Sam read how she did this. And it's Auntie M from The Wizard of Oz. And so she's like, she put on her favorite blue dress. She laid down on her favorite comforter in her home by herself. She took pills, and then she put a bag over her head, and she committed suicide. And do you remember Otto from Otto and George?
Yeah.
Otto goes, "Yeah." And then the Undertaker took turns stuffing hay into her twat and asshole.
Jesus Christ.
Stuffing hay into her twat and asshole.
In her favorite dress.
Dude, and it was so goddamn unnecessary. It's so fucking mean.
Oh, God.
But that's the kind of shit that gets the best fucking laughter. And I mean, it was so fucking hilarious where it was like, Jesus Christ. You remember Attell's bit on Patrice? No. When right after Patrice had died, they were talking about how sad it was, and and Anthony Cumia was saying, it's amazing how many people really did love him. And then Attell just goes, yeah, but how many people loved him for free? Huh? Everyone's like, yeah, okay. And he goes, I mean, yeah, I don't mean to be all what is it? I don't mean to be all fucking a downer over here, but all I'm saying is some money would really help. And I'm butchering this, but he goes, all I'm saying is that we've got a purple suit and a gigantic casket to pay for. And everybody was like, Jesus Christ.
Well, dude, Attell is so good at making stuff funny that isn't funny. Like, for instance, he's also just a masterful joke writer and just is a veteran in performing.
Cocksucker.
He was there's one story I heard recently on the Rogan podcast, Michelle Wolf said, and she goes, there was one night at the Comedy Cellar where there were these like 4 Mexican ladies in the front row, and just the whole night they weren't giving any comic anything. And she goes, it got to the point that after every comic set and they would sit at the table, they were talking about the 4 Mexican ladies in the front row, how no one could crack them. And finally, Attell goes up, and he didn't hear about the Mexican ladies. He just immediately saw that they weren't going to crack, and he goes, "Oh, why so sad? Did Selena die again?" And they started cracking up, and they
just goes right after him,
just immediately, and just won them over.
Oh God, dude! And that's that to me. Like when I was hosting at Fourth Wall, that was the environment that I wanted to create.
You did, I think.
It was like I want comic. If a comic bombs, like if a comic does well, great. Like this should be a room where, like, and it was fun because, like I said, we got people like Justin Foster, Andy Picaro, Josh Potter. Like, people were coming into that room and working out material, and it was like, fuck yeah, like good, solid comics. But what I also wanted was I wanted comics that would bomb. And if a comic ate shit, I wanted it to be like, like, yeah. I love, there was something about that was so, because to me, it wasn't necessarily a comic failing, but it was us showing like, yeah, that was bad. But there was a camaraderie in it where people were still laughing. Not necessarily that you're terrible, but we were laughing because everybody's been there. Everybody knows that attempt that you wanted it to work. It just
didn't work out for you.
Fucking work. Exactly.
But that's what's so great about Fourth Wall. Because I've been to a lot of mics where it's the fake supportive, the fake laugh. And dude, that does nobody any fucking favors. Mm-mm. And the nights where, and listen, I've been that person before. Where
we all have. And
those are the nights where I learn the most. I can do a set and kill, right? And I go, that was fucking awesome. I had a great set, but I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
Because killing there's so many factors in killing that aren't even you. Mm-hmm. What's the environment of the show you're in? What's the crowd like? What time is it? Have the checks dropped? Have they been drinking? You know, there's so many things that aren't you. And then you do a mic and you bomb in front of your peers. And you get in the car and it's a no radio ride home. You're in the car and you're just replaying your whole set in your head. And with each punchline, you're picking a face in the audience going like, yeah, didn't crack him. Yep, didn't crack him. Okay, this is where they start laughing at me, not my material. And then you just go, when's the next set I can do? When can I do the next set? Because I need to get this out of my system.
It's fantastic. The comics that can do that and give you that kind of laughter, to me, those are the ones that teach you how to write jokes too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It was funny, like, we'll be hanging out with the Verges and they'll say something that's not funny quite often. We were in their apartment and as we were walking out, I was thinking, God, you're just so fucking unfunny. And they have this big poster of Steve Martin. And, you know, he's got the classic,
would love Steve Martin.
Yeah, they've got the classic arrow through his head. Yeah. And we were walking, I was just like, oh, God, you guys are just so unfunny. And I go, look at this photo of Steve Martin. He was smiling before we walked into this room. And then you started doing your comedy. And Luke just hits us with, yeah, he goes, he probably wishes that arrow were the real fucking thing. I mean, we died laughing. I mean, it's fun shit like that. Like, I've heard Rob Banks go up and be like, huh. He'll go, well, you guys didn't like that one.
I love when Rob will start off so strong, and I'll be like, well, I had you at the beginning, and now I've lost you.
and he even, like, I remember he was doing a joke, and the punchline was, I wasn't even high when I wrote that. And it was, I learned so much from Rob Banks too in how to sit in a set and let it really just grow on you and be in the pocket, as we say. But it is like, you learn so much from that's kind of why I'm like, oh, you know, it's nice of the shit you say sometimes, but it's just like, yeah, you learn some, like, you taught me one night about energy again, where I was like, fuck, my energy's been dog shit lately. I gotta get a little fucking Vinnie in. It's like, Jesus Christ. But that's kind of what it is it's like, okay, it's a training ground where you learn from like watching Josh Potter, watching, you know, Bruno, watching Luke is the one that taught me how to write a joke. And it's embarrassing because I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be 7 years in April. And I feel like I'm just now learning how to write a joke. And it's embarrassing.
It's not embarrassing. Dude, think about who we admire and the huge benchmark they reached and how many years in they were.
It's very true.
You know? Because it seems a little, you know, silly sometimes to say stand-up is an art form. It's an art. But it so is. It's such an art form. It's an art form because you need creativity, you need determination, and you need just the practice of it. I think that's the true form of an art. Are those three characteristics? Probably more stuff too, but off the top of my head, you know. And you can't truly master something until you've been doing it for years and years and years. And you've been writing jokes, but now you think you really have a grasp on it, and I'm sure 7 years from now you'll say, oh, God, I'm 14 years in, and now I really know how to write a joke. Because you're always evolving, and if you're not, then that's the problem.
Exactly. It's monstrous how good you get the more you're doing it. Like, that's why people like Chappelle and like even Rob Banks, who's young, 10 years younger, I think, than I am. But, you know, I remember he started a little bit more before I did. And we've come up together, and it's been so funny, like, watching his trajectory of a career. And then, you know, like, something good would happen to him.
he killed before I did. And I remember thinking, like, I remember when it happened. And I very rarely say killed, but he fucking beat the shit out of this room. And I remember he was doing it, and everything, I don't know what it was. It was a different Rob than the one I hung out with and did coke with. No, it was the one that I hung out with. Because he was up there, and I mean, he could not fucking miss. And he threw out a joke, and it just landed. And I'd never heard him do it before. And when he threw it out and it landed, he looked at me and he went, huh. And it was so fun because he went, huh. And he did it into the microphone. And so, like, some people looked at me like I was his manager, and I was just like, no, go, man, go, motherfucker, go. And he leveled the room that night. And I don't remember how many years in we were, but again, years in is what it took.
Yeah.
Where every night it was just such a fucking disaster. Where it's just like now it's funny because I used to think bombing it at the Oyster House was bad. And I know, no, bombing at the Oyster House isn't shit. Bombing at the Comedy Store on a fucking Monday when your mentor got you that spot, that fucking hurts.
That hurts.
That's the one where you're like, I'm not fucking good enough to be here.
Yeah.
Like this sucks. This fucking hurts my soul. And then you tell your mentor and he's like, oh fuck yeah, I remember that. And you're like, wait, really? It's horrifying, but you're like, Jesus Christ.
The one time I got picked for potluck, I couldn't believe it. I signed up, walked to the Starbucks. 40 minutes later, all right, it's 7 or it's 6. Mm-hmm. Sheets out. I walk back. Number 7, Vinnie Falcone. Ooh. What the fuck? I got picked? No one gets picked. Pat's like, holy shit, dude. And I drank 2 bottles of water. I couldn't quench my thirst. I had a dry mouth for 45 minutes before I got on stage. I get on stage. I did fine. Looking back on it, I would never do those jokes again. But I did fine. But I didn't. I just kind of just beat myself up. I was like, fuck, I'm down. Pat and I go to the Whole Foods to get dinner. I walk into Whole Foods. I just ate a plate of dicks in front of my whole peers, the Comedy Store, and I'm picking out broccoli. And who's next to me? Sebastian Maniscalco. Mm-hmm. And I go, Sebastian, I'm a huge fan. I just did potluck. I didn't do too well. He's like, what did you just say? I just did potluck. He's like, what the fuck is that? I go, it's like the open mic for the Comedy Store. He's like, oh. I go, I fucking bombed. He goes, oh yeah, well you did comedy in front of 5 people from Ohio at 7 o'clock at night. Of course it's gonna bomb. I've done that too. It fucking happens. I go, really? He's like, yeah, dude, don't worry about it. You shake it off. You keep fucking going. And I'm like, you don't understand what this means. Thank you so much. He's like, yeah, what's your name? I go, Vinny. He's like, nice meeting you, Vinny. Just keep doing it.
Vinny.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, you fucking
trying to bring out some produce, all right? Save your sorrows for your buddy
some
Pat.
Hot pussy in his car. What took you so long, Bastion? I don't know. There was a fly or something. Like, couldn't even remember your name.
Yeah.
That was fucking... No, but it's exactly right. It's funny because it's like, how many times do you got to bomb at the store in order to really fucking... And honestly, how many people still bomb there? It's fucking... It's funny because Joey Diaz once said, I can't remember where the spot was, but he said, he goes, when I started, I was terrible. Terrible. And he goes, I wouldn't call in for spots. I'd call in bomb threats. Hey, you tell him I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock, and I got 3 new fucking jokes, and I'm going to use them. He's like, they were fucking bomb threats.
I think he's the funniest person alive. He is so fucking funny.
Oh fuck, dude! He's hilarious. And he takes care of people too. That's the thing.
He's such a nice guy.
Because that's obviously how I got to meet Agostino. And oh yeah, I'm gonna plug that too. Homeschool podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a great fucking podcast. Your podcast I'll plug at the beginning of the show too.
Cool.
I gotta ask you something. I gotta do some house cleaning, Vin.
Do it.
I do. What the fuck about me do you think hates women? Did you know I was gonna bring this up?
No.
All right, because I was bitching to Lou. I listened to it and I was like, "Those motherfuckers." I had a joke about it that I was telling on stage.
No, I saw you do it. It's really funny, actually.
Yeah, thank you. I was fucking. And by the way, that joke got watered down because when I was first telling it, I was bashing the fuck out of you guys.
Really, I love it.
Oh, I was pissed. What about me makes you think I hate women?
Okay, so it's more so Pat's synopsis of you, and I kind of tag along a little bit in the sense that hate's a strong word for me. I definitely think you're not amused by them or give them the time of day. But after hearing your joke, it makes a lot of sense. I won't give your joke away, but basically, every interaction we have with women, you basically shoo them away like they're a bumblebee, and you're deathly allergic.
I'm Thomas.
You're trying to stay calm to show them that you're not afraid of them because you know the fear will make them want to stink you more. But you definitely want to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Okay. So, yes, I did feel it more from fuckhead Pat
Yeah.
than anybody else. Because I gotta vindicate myself here. Because when I listened to that, I was like, these motherfuckers. And I was like, holy shit. Like, one, I was grateful. I gotta get Maddie Hansen on here because that was a really great episode.
She is so funny.
She's fucking amazing.
So funny.
And I was glad because I was like, okay, at least Maddie, I think, understands it. Where it's, and this is the thing, because you're not the only one that has said that to me. I think it is, and I've got to bring it on to address it too. I think it is a common thing that it's a common misconception that I don't like women. Okay? I'm pretty sure my cousin who looks just like me, his wife, doesn't think I like her. And I can feel it. Like there's they trust me, but they don't think I like them. And I sniff that out like a fucking basset hound. Here's the thing. It's not that I don't like women. I don't like anybody that plays fucking games. And this is what I'll tell you. So we used to go to this bar back when I lived in Colorado. It was called Cables. Okay. So back then I was sober too, and I wouldn't really drink. I was the designated driver. And so they had a lot of chicks that worked at the bar. And so we get up to the bar, and my cousin's like, this is before he met his wife, he said, okay, yeah, we'll do 4 Tuaca bombs and Diet Coke. And she's like, oh, okay. And so she sets them up, and she's like, who's Diet Coke for? He points at me. She's like, oh, you're the Diet Coke? And I go, yeah, that's me. She's like, huh. And she puts it in front of me. She goes, you don't want a Tuaca bomb? And I go, no, I'm driving tonight. She's like, oh, so you're being the pussy tonight, huh? And I go, okay. And she goes, what? And I go, okay. And she's like, okay. And she kind of rolls her eyes, and then, she gets these guys some more Tuaca bombs, and she's like, well, what do you think? Are you ready? You stop being a bitch yet? And I go, you know what? I go, why don't you just give me my Diet Cokes and shut the fuck up? And you would have thought I fucking declared war on every modicum of who she was. She called over her manager, all this shit, that I was being rude, and I told him, I was like, no, I'm not being rude. I go, she she insisted on questioning my masculinity because I didn't want to drink. I'm being a designated driver. I was like, I'll tell you what. I go, I'll drive everybody here home. I go, but that's on the Constitution. She doesn't get to fucking talk to me like that. I go, because I didn't do anything like that to her. I didn't engage that. I don't fucking like that. Don't fucking talk to me like that. I wouldn't talk to you that way. I wouldn't talk to any man that way. And the manager's like, all right, why don't you guys just get a table? And like, and I was like, all right, you fucking pussy. Like, but that's kind of my thing, is it's just like, you don't, like, honestly, if you had said the same thing, you're being the pussy tonight, and I'm like, yeah, fuck you, meathead. Give me my goddamn drink.
Yeah.
And it's, I call it complete equality. Where it's like, no, don't fucking talk to me that way, because I don't tolerate that shit on anybody. Like, if a chick talked to you that way, I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
If a guy talked to you that way, you would be fighting that dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, dude, don't come at me like that. Because, you know, you're not my friend. You don't fucking know me.
So it's basically just the bullshit that you don't like. And
Yeah.
it tends. Okay.
Maddie Hansen came up to me one time, and I was like, "Oh my god, you were so funny." And she was like, "What are you doing, you little faggot?" And here's the thing. It made me laugh so but Maddie knows me.
Yeah.
And she's seen me do comedy, and she's laughed at, she's seen me bomb. Maddie is a fucking comic.
She really
True
is.
blue,
She
she's
really
a
is.
bad motherfucker. You don't fuck with Maddie Hansen. So when she came up and she's like, "What are you doing, you little faggot?" Like, I lost it, and I died because it was so seething. It was like a fucking snake that like slithered around my neck. You little faggot. And I started laughing. The same thing with Ellen Doyle.
Oh, great.
Ellen Doyle can come
So
up and
funny.
she could kick me in the balls and be like, "Ah!" And I would fucking giggle. I'd hurt, but like I would giggle my ass off at it, because people like her, I don't know, like it's different with them, and like it's stronger women too. Like,
Yeah.
I like, there's something about strong fucking women that they're like one of my best friends. One of my best friends is black. One of my best friends is a woman. One of my best friends, she was brilliant with money. She knew she just bought a house. She got married. She doesn't fuck around, dude. She told me, she's like, "Eric, when you get a car, I want to come with you." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "'Cause we're gonna fucking Jew them down so good." And I started, because she's Jewish. She's like, "No, dude, you don't even know. Like, we take pride. Like, whenever somebody goes car shopping, they always take one of us." And it makes me laugh, but she's like, she's a mother. She's got a kid, and like, this is what's so cool about her too. We went to a Kings game, tickets that she paid for. And it's like, holy shit. And then what I loved about her is she's like, okay, you know, she got the babysitter. She made sure that her daughter was home and in bed at 9. We came back, and she's still being mother. She like fucking cut up fruit for us. You know what I mean? We're still like, and this is when I was drinking, we were like hammered. And somehow we got a puck, and we were fucking around with it. She goes, "I will give you $20 if you hit that puck as hard as you can at my daughter's door." And we just fucking laughed. And, you know, obviously she was fucking around, but like, there is something about strong women they're the fucking greatest. They are the absolute best. And I'm the same way with gay dudes too, dude. Like, I have to say that, like, don't call me bitch, because I will slap you like a I will. Like, a gay man's the only thing I would ever slap.
Really?
just because it's so disrespectful to me. Like you should punch a woman because she is like if a woman. Yeah, I think women can fight too. Like I would.
Fuck yeah.
It'd be vicious to like some of those bitches that fight, dude. I'd be terrified to fight one, but I wouldn't back then because I'm not a pussy. But like a gay man, I just have. I don't know if it's a disrespect, but like, I told you about the time I got kicked out of Bryan Singer's house, right?
Yes, the great story.
Yeah. So I slapped him with my sandal.
Yeah.
And when he let go, I kept slapping him. And I was like, don't you ever fucking try to do this to me again, you
insulted him.
motherfucker.
You insulted him a little bit.
Drinks on the house. And it was so like, and I remember we were outside and I was like, fuck, I'm drunk. I don't even remember. And I don't think I remembered hitting him. And I was like, and he was looking at me and he's like, you fucking slapped me. And I go, what? He's like, you fucking slapped me, you bitch. And I was like, oh shit, this little queer's yelling at me. Why is he yelling at me? But I had to clear that up, dude. It legitimately isn't a hate women thing. And I think what it is too is I don't understand them to a point.
I mean, I don't think anyone does.
Here's one thing that happened at an open mic. Okay, when I was reading the names, this was early on. This one chick had signed up, right? She signed up, and I couldn't read her handwriting. And I said, "Oh, okay. Coming up next is I'm just gonna take a shot at this." And I said the name wrong. And she got up. She was like, "Yeah, okay. Wow, I didn't realize that I was gonna get my fucking name changed tonight. That's great. Wow, not even close." And I go, "What the fuck?" And she was like, "Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I don't know. I guess nobody will ever get it right." And I looked at Joe Minette and I go, "Joe, look at how she fucking wrote her name. You can't even fucking read this." And I go, "How the fuck does she expect me to read her name when she fucking script?" And Joe looked at me as honest and as innocent. And he's like, "Oh, you don't, oh." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Eric, she's not going to apologize to you, so you know." And I go, "But I didn't do anything wrong, Joe." And he goes, "She's a woman, Eric." He goes, "It's your fault." And I go, "Is that how you guys are conditioned to think?"
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And he goes, "Yeah, well, why didn't you ask her what her name was?" And I go, "Fuck her. She wrote it wrong, Joe. It's her fault." And he goes, "Yeah, but you could have done something." And I go, "No!" Like, I wanted to fucking, like, he had drinking the blood of Kali. And I was like, fucking, I was short wrong. Go, "Dr. Joe, you're my best friend, please."
Indy.
And he was like, "No," like, just fucking lowering me down into that fire. Exactly. But yeah, dude, I was like, you don't understand. What's the bad? If I had a torch, I would have burned Joe Minette with it. You drink black blood of Kali. It was so fucking bad. And I said, I go, "Why do you guys think that way?" And they were like, "Well, you could have done a little bit more, Eric." And I was like, "No." Anyways, so to me, all you guys just drink the blood of
Well, I think the first time I realized women were crazy was my girlfriend in college. Because you know, it was my first really serious girlfriend. I dated a girl in high school, but it was like, you know, a couple of blowjobs and like, you know, trips to the diner, you know, like cute shit, you know. And then the first encounter of, oh, so this is what all the movies and the songs and shit are about. It's this shit. And I dated this chick who was just fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And we met in college, and I went to a military school. and I got suspended for a semester because so I was a cadre, which is basically a platoon sergeant. I was a junior, and I was in charge of freshmen, and basically my buddy and I, who was the staff sergeant,
You were a fucking monster. I remember this
we were
story.
fucking monster, and we basically would line them up after chow, and they'd bring fruit back because they loved it, and we played fruit hockey. Like it is literally deemed fruit hockey within the school. They teach new cadre about us and like what not to do. They call it the fruit hockey brief. And we basically would take hockey sticks and we would just hit fruit at them. Just fucking slap shots, dude. Apples would explode. We'd like it was fucking horrible. So I got suspended for a semester. So we had a long distance relationship now. And she was crazy at college, but I think when you're with them and you're reaping the rewards of a relationship, you're easy to put blinders on because you're getting the instant gratification of like, oh, I get to grab her ass, I get to kiss her, I get to have sex. So you put up with this shit. But then when it's a long distance relationship, you're just left with the shit. You know?
Yeah.
You're not really getting the rewards. And I remember I was working at a liquor store. It was miserable. I'm going to fucking community college and I'm working at a liquor store that has been robbed twice. And I'm sitting there eating like my fucking soggy salad. I packed it at 2:00, and she called me, and it's 6:00 at night. Everyone's getting off work. It's the big rush for liquor stores, and she knows I'm at work, and she goes, "Hey, what's going on, babe? What's going on?" I go, "Hey." I go, "Listen, it's the rush right now. So I can't go, but is everything okay? Is it an emergency?" She goes, "No, I just just wanted to say hi, but I guess you're busy." I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm at work, and it's the rush." And she's like, "Okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just talk to you later tonight." Or, actually, you know what? I probably won't even talk to you because you seem too fucking busy. So maybe I'll talk to you sometime tomorrow or maybe even next week if you make time for me. Later. And I go, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." And it dawned on me. I go, this is a crazy one.
That's not right.
I got a crazy one. And I put up with it for like 8 more months.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And finally...
What the fuck's the matter with you?
Dude, my first real girlfriend, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know they were blinders. I thought it was like, oh, well, this seems normal.
Yeah, dude, she's fucking crazy, but you're
Crazy.
Jack Nicholson with a lobotomy, bud. And I'm not. If I were an Indian, I would have fucking put a pillow over your head, Billy.
Dude, seriously. And
You gotta dive in.
8 months later, my dad is kind of... Have you seen Along Came Polly?
Uh-huh.
Remember how his dad doesn't talk the whole movie? And then finally he's like, "What are you doing?" My dad doesn't say shit to me on like a personal level. And then one day I'm just like punching a wall because of this girl. I literally punched a wall and he said, "You're going to have to fix that before your mother gets home." So I had to drive to the hardware store, get supplies, fix it, paint it, sand it. Right?
Jesus.
I fixed the fucking thing and my dad goes, "Listen, you got to dump this chick." I go, "What?" Because we never talk, like we don't have that relationship.
Yeah.
It's just we watch Animal House and drink Macallan. That's all we do. And he goes, "You gotta dump this chick. She's not good for you." I go, "She's fucking crazy." I go, "You can find a better girl." And the fact that he said that was like, you know what? Yeah, I gotta change this. And now, not to fucking say, I'm so great, but now I'm dating a girl who is literally the best girl that I've ever dated. She makes my life better and doesn't add any stress to my life.
Yeah. What are you writing down on that piece of paper? Just kidding. Oh. No. I'm just fucking with you. What's the name of your podcast, buddy?
Going nowhere fast, baby.
Right on. You got any shows coming up?
No. Just had one last night, but
Fucking loser.
it's bad. I got nothing going on. I'm not successful.
Well, dude, I think you're fucking funny, man. I think you're funny, and it's cool seeing you come up, and I'm happy I say I get to do gigs with you every once in a great while. We gotta do more gigs together.
I know.
But anyways, I respect your comedy, and I respect your hustle, buddy. Thank you for doing the show.
Dude, I love you, man. I love your comedy. I appreciate all the kind words, and thanks for having me, dude.
For sure.
Later.
I don't know no better, so let's blame the weather. 'Cause I got no care when I hit my groove. 'Cause I got no care when I hit my groove. time to lose your fucking mind and just have a good time. Baby, have a real good time. Money's out of downtown. Mike's warehouse is going down by the railroad tracks. Mama broken glass. By the railroad tracks, don't mind the broken glass. Say you might lose your mind if you don't find the time to lose your fucking mind and just have a good time. Baby, have a real good time. Baby, won't you lose your mind? Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it,